Some people don't raise their voice, they don't insult you openly, and yet, after every interaction, you feel drained, confused, and heavy. You replay conversations in your head. You wonder what you did wrong. You tell yourself you should be stronger. But what if the problem isn't your strength? What if the reason toxic people affect you so deeply is because you feel deeply? Today, I want to explain why this happens, and why it's not your fault. Why it hurts so much. If toxic people affect you more than others, it doesn't mean you're weak. It usually means you're empathetic. You notice tone. You notice silence. You notice when energy shifts in a room. You care about harmony. You care about connection. And you try to understand people instead of attacking them. But here's the truth most people never tell you. Empathy is a strength, but in an unsafe environment, it becomes a vulnerability. Toxic people don't lack awareness. They lack responsibility. So they use emotional awareness to get power instead of connection. Being affected doesn't mean you're fragile. It means you're human. How toxic people gain power. Toxic people rarely take control loudly. They do it quietly. They trigger guilt. They create self-doubt. They make you question your own reality. You say, "That hurt me." They respond, "You're overreacting." You explain yourself. They minimize it. Slowly, something dangerous happens. You stop trusting your feelings. You stop speaking clearly. You start editing yourself to keep the peace. And the more you explain, the more control they feel. Because for toxic people, the goal is not understanding. The goal is power. The real problem, big shift. Here's the shift that changes everything. The problem is not that you care too much. The problem is that you're caring in the wrong direction. You try to fix. You try to tolerate. You try to be patient. You believe that if you just explain better, they'll finally understand. But toxic people don't respond to clarity. They respond to access. Every explanation you give, every emotional breakdown you share, every attempt to be understood becomes information they can use. And that's why you feel exhausted, not because you're weak, but because you're overgiving in a place that keeps taking. First smart rule. This brings us to the first smart rule for dealing with toxic people. And I want you to really hear this. Stop explaining your emotions to people who dismiss them. Explanation feels mature. It feels calm. It feels healthy. But with toxic people, it becomes self-betrayal. You don't need to convince someone who benefits from misunderstanding you. Your feelings don't need a debate. They need protection. And this rule alone, when applied gently and consistently, can change how much power someone has over you. If this video felt uncomfortably accurate, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're not too much. And you're not alone. You don't need to harden your heart to deal with toxic people. You just need smarter tools. In the next episode, we'll talk about the silent behaviors toxic people use to control you without ever raising their voice. If this series speaks to you, subscribe so you don't miss episode 2. Take care of your energy. You deserve peace. Subscribe if you want to learn how to deal with toxic people without losing yourself.